think that the way we do things and our expectations and our pace, like that's different for the Florida community, or it's not always the same. Like, especially being headquartered in Chicago, we move fast here. I mean, you walk downtown and people are running out there. So it's totally different going into a whole different state. And I think we definitely got a good taste of that. So then it's taking those people, showing them our culture, letting them know what the expectations are. And it wasn't easy. It definitely wasn't easy. But I think now 12 months in, we got such a good grasp, and people are excited about working with us and the pace that we work and what we do ultimately.
We live below the fold. We live underneath those incredible brands.
What is the vision? Right? So like there's a story, but then it's like, where are you trying to go? If it's compelling enough, then you start to get people to believe in it.
I have a great co-host with me today, Annabelle.
Hi.
I would go into like your like role. Like obviously Annabelle leads our HR team, but you do so much more, and you're working and moving into so much more. So I'm just gonna say, like, Annabelle, welcome. You only go by your name. You don't need a title. You reached a level where titles actually don't matter anymore.
Yeah, that's the OG thing. 10 years in, who knows what I do anymore?
Yeah, that's incredible. I think, to work anywhere for 10 years, but for the audience, Annabelle was one of our first team members. She's been with us really since day one. Just had her 10-year reunion, which is absolutely incredible. How many of those do we find? Very few and far between. But thanks for joining me today. Carlos off on vacation, so we thought we'd do something a little bit unique. So
Yeah.
I definitely got the better host this time.
I don't know that I could match up with Carlo, but I'll try.
So today's topic that we thought would resonate with our audience and our client base is managing remote factories or remote people. For our scenario, I'm actually down right now in our Daytona facility, and to give some background, our Daytona facility is 76,000 square feet. It is actually running already 2 shifts. For those of you that are inside the industry, many times when the size of a shop, we speak about autos. This facility has been open for 12 months, and it has 8 autos in it already, as well as all the ancillary things that go with it. And just over 100 team members here.
Yeah.
Which is incredible in 12 months to have brought on that amount of people. So I wanted to start there. Annabelle, from your perspective, what has been the greatest challenge? And then we could probably go into, what has worked really well, if we can, give and bring value to the audience on like, how do you hire, or how the hell did you hire 100 people in 12 months in a state that you've never worked in?
Yeah.
And a factory that actually you probably hired 60 or 80 people and haven't even been to the actual shop yet.
Yeah. I think when we decided that we were going to open up another location somewhere else, that was definitely my fear. Just because it's like, how much can you do remotely? How often can I go out there? What is this all going to look like? But I think what we did right was that we built our core people in the very beginning. And a lot of our business really, when it comes to bringing on team members, is referrals, which honestly is my favorite thing. I love that our own team members are, telling their friends and their cousins, like, hey, I love where I work, come join us. So a lot of that did come from that, from that, just people knowing other either family members or friends and referring them. And then just kind of us going into it like, okay, I love how this guy works. They work really well. they're vouching for this person. So I think that made it really nice and easy for us in that sense. But once we got through all the friends, the cousins, the uncles, it was like, okay, what are we going to do next? So we relied on a bunch of different resources, from putting the word out there in social media, and just kind of getting there. So I think the one good thing that COVID did teach us was to interact, virtually, was to set up meetings, and make it not so difficult. So I think we were able to kind of go through that and meet people virtually, and still have that, although not in person, still have that connection with the face-to-face.
Yeah, I remember one of the people from the Florida local Daytona government agencies was like, I've never seen an organization run through a local network as fast as you guys did.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that's definitely, good value is, first and foremost, you just rely on personal relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You build the core team first. But then, you try to get involved in the local community as much as you possibly can. And that seemed to really help the
Yeah.
buzz.
Yeah. And I think it helped that all of us were kind of going out there at different times and making connections and kind of seeing that through. But I think what's really important was that even with the core people that we brought on initially, the culture that we just portrayed was able to, kind of pass on through their referrals. And I think we got that so early on. Like, I remember our first couple hires, it was like, hey, like, I've known you for forever, welcome to the team. And then they were able to bring in their referrals and stuff just like that. So I think that really, really helped us. But it wasn't easy. I think that the way we do things and our expectations and our pace, like, that's different for the Florida community, or it's not always the same. Like, especially being headquartered in Chicago, we move fast here. I mean, you walk downtown and people are running out there. So it's totally different going into a whole different state, and I think we definitely got a good taste of that. So then it's taking those people, showing them our culture, letting them know what the expectations are, and it wasn't easy. It definitely wasn't easy, but I think now 12 months in, we got such a good grasp, and people are excited about working with us and the pace that we work and what we do ultimately. So I think as long as we continue to evolve that and continue to, try things and positions and things like that, we'll just keep going.
Yeah, the question that I get quite often, and even I've been meeting with all the teams here, is how does another company retain the same culture in two different places? What is the trick or the strategy to that?
I think for us, it is that from the top level, it showcases. Like, Rich, you being the CEO, you are like out there, you're like, hey, hugging, hey, how are you? Like, I think people just see that, and we can fully engulf in that. So I don't think it's like fake, or if it were fake, it wouldn't go through in that fashion. So I think just from the top level, anytime we all get to go visit on our own, it's like we're happy, and we, more than anything, are the ones that are really just starting the culture, and it just organically goes through nicely.
Yeah. Something I say, when somebody asks that question quite oftenly is like, we have to make the culture kind of non-negotiable,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be here. You have to spend time in
Yeah.
which, like you said, we've all been taking turns coming down here, because the culture of an organization is vanilla
Yeah.
until somebody changes it,
Right.
and or it just becomes on its own. It takes an organism on its own. And so it is tender loving care, and
Mm-hmm.
it's constantly meeting with people and building trust and letting them know the lens that we've viewed how
Mm-hmm.
we organize the business, or how we treat our clients, or how we treat our people, or whatever the
Mm-hmm.
case may be, and continuing to bring that perspective and that lens here, and then trying to, work into our systems so that they share and then they are one.
Mm-hmm.
Even Sunny is one of our team members on the logistics side, and he's going to be bringing to the table a way of organizing Slack, which is just like, more of an intricate way of bringing the two teams together deeper, rather
Mm-hmm.
than kind of absurdly separating them apart.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I think it's like many little tricks like that
Mm-hmm.
that you learn and stumble along the way, and that they catch on and people start to feel more like one.
Right. And I think that, it gets you to a certain point, but then you do have to, evolve in that. Like for us, even, the first, 8 months, it was like, all right, I was doing all the hiring and a lot of virtuals, and our core people were bear hugging all these new team members coming in. But then it's like, okay, well, we went from 30 to 100 like so fast. So it's like, okay, we do need the additional resources. So then that's when we, take back and say, okay, let's bring on another HR support, or let's bring on a recruiter that's actually out there. So, we did take that next level. We brought Nilsan, who's been amazing, and her being from that community and speaking the language our team members speak, and just fully being in there and involved, like game changer. Like step one, got it. Step two, here we are, and then we'll just kind of keep going from there. So I think it's important to know when the time is right to continue to evolve the resources and do it in the best fashion. And I think within the first 12 months that we've taken this on, that we've done such a good job with it.
What do you think, from your perspective and like the people and team perspective, has been the biggest challenge?
I think just what we do is fun, and it's awesome, and you get to leave your day and say, wow, I did this merch and I did that, but it is hard work. So I think that sometimes it's being able to set the boundaries and say, yeah, it can be fun, and what we do is very interesting, and it's a learning opportunity at all times. But then there's always those expectations, which sometimes laying down the expectations isn't always easy. People don't always work at that same level. So I think always kind of leveling it out, whether it's per position or per department or employee, that the expectations never change. So then from there, you start to see, is this person molding to the expectations? Can we get this person there? Or is this a fit or not? And make those decisions.
Yeah, I also, think the one of the challenges that we've all had, is not being able to wrap your arms around every problem.
Yeah.
And like when you're in one facility or in one place, it's a lot easier as an executive team to
Mm-hmm.
just wrap, your whole arms around any problem whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in scaling to multiple facilities, you can't wrap your arms around things,
Mm-hmm.
especially when things pop up, whether that's something as simple as there's a leak, like there's a leak in the roof. Like, okay, well, I can't fix the
The
leak
water
from
is
here.
yellow.
The water is yellow. Yeah, like there's just so many things that happen that usually you would just walk over and you would attack the problem
Mm-hmm.
immediately. And so, I think that the way that we've been able to navigate that, quite successfully, is by empowering people down here, and knowing that they have us as a support. No
Mm-hmm.
stupid questions don't get answered, or no, all questions are great answers, or have great answers, or all questions are allowed.
Mm-hmm.
But there, we have to rely on these teams, that and empower them to be able to make decisions. Otherwise, we're kind of stuck on our own island,
Yeah.
not knowing how to fix something like a broken toilet or something.
Right. But I think what's interesting about it, and I think we're really good at making that known, is we've experienced so many firsts through here. Like I've never seen water turn yellow, or we've never been flooded here in Chicago. Like there's so many firsts
Hurricanes.
that there's so many firsts that we've experienced, but I think because of that culture that like even you or me or anyone's just always like a call away or FaceTime away, that it's always just open to let's figure it out together. So I think that that's what makes it great, is that we don't have this like, guideline to say, oh, if the water is yellow, this is what you do. It's like, hey, give me a call, let's figure it out together. So I think that we've just been super true to that, and our team members know that, and no matter who they call, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, the other point, and like I guess like the value that we can bring is like setting up the org chart in a more unique fashion, that we have really caught some recent success by building this lateral org chart of accountable teams that really have two parts to each individual in each individual team, which is someone on the national leadership side, meaning someone who's been with the organization for well, sometimes not even as long as we would hope, but has somewhat of a seasoned veteran, has gone through extensive training, has learned along the way, has made mistakes, and that person is your go-to trusted leader for all things. That is the process, the clients, the product, whatever the case may be, and then attaching a direct report that is some level of boots on the ground. For us, and I'm sure many of our audience is making an actual physical product. And so when you make a physical product, you can't really do that completely remote. Someone has to be there. And so having that org chart set up in that manner gives you the best of both worlds. It gives you that individual that I know can give me an answer on the ground here, where to move that pallet, when is the truck coming, should we change colors, is the electric on, or did we blow a breaker? And then you have that national leadership, which is saying, hey, I'm going to bring everybody together and we're going to do a training session, or here's what's missing, or here's the vision, or where we're going.
Yeah. I think having that trusted resource, and the great thing is I think everyone on our team, we're such talkers and we're such like family oriented that we're always on the phone. Like it's so funny. Even I go out here and I like want to meet with one of the managers, and they're always on the phone, and I'm like, who are you talking to? And they're always on a huddle or something with someone out there, and it's so funny because sometimes I'm like, I think we spend more time with our team members on a national scale than where we are here. But no, I think that this has allowed us all to evolve, even our managers here in Chicago, like to grow at a national scale. Like who would have thunk it? And I think we're all learning, and they're doing such a great job. And we fail in some things, we learn and we grow, and that's the only way to do it. And as we bring on, or in the near future, we open up another facility, and then who's going to lead that, and how does that all come together? So it's exciting for me because I think that growth is such an attractive thing, and true to what we hold is we want all of our team members to grow at a national scale. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, agreed. And I think we can go back and forth and pros and cons of running multiple facilities, but I certainly believe that they net out positive. And covering more of the country obviously is at the top. Giving teams the ability to build and grow their careers, and also explore we're not like settlers of Catan here, but it's been unique to see many people from Chicago move out to Florida because they've always wanted to. And that was like something that an itch they always wanted to scratch. And as an organization, we gave that ability. And so that I think that the camaraderie and the spark of what multiple facilities brings nets out positive to all the cons that we can probably have Santa's list on.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly didn't even expect that to happen so fast, but I mean, our facility in Daytona is beautiful. So I think, I mean, if I weren't married and didn't have kids, I'd be probably the first one out there. But it
Same.
definitely it's the facility and just a new opportunity to, see something and have this guide of what it'll look like in the future, but being able to tackle it on your own, I think that that's awesome. And even one of our team members that actually moved out there, I remember interviewing him and letting him know about our locations. And in the interview, he was like, "That's my goal." To move out there in Chicago, born and raised. And I was like, really? And little did you know, in 6 months, it was like, all right, we're doing it. So I mean, how cool to be able to go into a career opportunity with a goal and then to actually execute it in less than a year. So I think that has a lot to do with culture and how we've grown and evolved, and just how how much time we've invested in finding the right place and something that has potential. So I think we did a great job with that.
Nice. Yeah, I would agree. And I think you did an incredible job with, getting this amount of people in this amount of time and rallying up all of these troops that, that we had
Yeah.
to. So thank you for that. And thanks for joining today. I think, I might bump Carlo out of this. Michelle, what do we might go full time, here with
Yeah.
Annabelle.
I think
But
in
Michelle
the
will.
10 years I have some things to talk about, so.
Yeah, darn right. And Michelle will, hopefully layer in, maybe some, early on pictures and video of, how we went about the space. We've done some good content about like how we built it, but maybe we can, show some of the team here and, ultimately just, provide value to our listeners that are thinking about opening another remote facility, whether that involves making a product or doesn't. Hopefully we can deliver some content to them.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I definitely remember you saying when we were like, "Are we going to move out of state?" You made us all kind of go around the table and say, "Are you in it? Yes or no?" And we all, put our hands in and said yes. And you said, "Well, it's not going to be easy." And we still all put our hands yes. So I think just initially having a great team that's on the same page and willing to put in the work and know that it's not going to be easy, that what happens after that is
Peanut butter. Yeah.
peanut butter.
Peanut butter and jelly.